Everybody to another Georgia Archery podcast. I'm your host, Big John Chandler, and you know that we interview anybody from Georgia, different archers from all over that are interested in shooting and talking about this type of thing. And we just have another guest tonight. If you are watching the Minden shootdown, he was in it, made the cut, and we wanted to talk to him tonight. So please welcome Jonathan Taylor. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. First off, let's just talk about how your weekend was.
Yeah, it was really good. At first, saw the numbers. They were doing great. I do pretty well when it's overcast. When it starts getting light, I hadn't quite figured out exactly how that changes when I see distances. I haven't been doing it very long, and but it was overcast and it was going well. I had 2.8s the first day and was able to hold get on the leaderboard that day. And of course, the second day came around and the lighting was a lot brighter that morning, and then it got overcast. So when we first started, I had a oopsie on the old lion. He was, I want to say he was around 42. No, I'm sorry. I think he was around 47, and I felt like it was 42.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That definitely can be an oopsie for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we hit him in the armpit, and we just picked ourselves up and we kept going.
Yep.
And etched it out all the way to the end.
Well, anyway, let's back it up a little bit. And you made the cut and you went to the shoot down, and that's a different monster, and we'll talk about that more. But we want everybody to know who you are, where you're from, how long you've been doing this, and then we'll get to the end of your finale of making the cut. First off, how long have you been shooting?
I've been shooting. This year will be my 5th year shooting a bow.
5th year shooting a bow. And how old are you?
And I'm 50 now. I'll be 51 in October.
Just turned 50, so you get to play with the old guys. I'm telling you, it's the most fun I ever had. There's no doubt about it. Shooting in the shooting in the old man's class has been a whole lot more fun. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit how you got started in archery 5 years ago. What brought you to this?
So, growing up, I've shot a rifle my whole life, and killing little animals. My dad wasn't much of a hunter, so I got up into age, and my kids were grown and getting grown, and I wanted to start hunting. So I felt like hunting an animal with a rifle just wasn't as, just as
challenging.
Yeah, it wasn't as challenging. And so I decided I wanted to shoot a bow. So I went over to Scott Parrott's place, River Bottom Outdoors, and I met the old man. And it was funny. It's a pretty funny story because you know Scott.
I know Scott very well.
Yeah, he was sitting there at his computer working away at it, and I walk in the door and he looks up over his computer, looks back down, and says, "Can I help you?" I'll never forget it. I tell him that story all the time. And so anyway, I ended up talking with him and bought a bow from him, and he helped me out a good bit. And I brought it home, and I've got a buddy down the road. His name's Chris Caldwell. And he let me shoot his target bow. He was shooting target. And so I immediately got into competition. And I was hooked from there on. So it started with wanting to hunt, and it ended with loving the competition of it.
And so you said that was 5 years ago. And what levels did you start with? Like, where did you start in competition?
So the first year I started in K40. I shot all the way through K40 the first year. The second year, and I only went to 3 events, national events. I obviously shot in local stuff.
Yeah.
Could win. I was winning pretty decent stuff in local. The national events was a little more frustrating. The guys are just way better. And so the second year, I stayed in K40, and at the very end of the year, it was Coleman. It was a classic, and I'd started learning. So I'm learning all these things all the time. And
for sure.
I started learning about this open game, this judging game. And I thought, I'm in construction. I've been in construction for 30 years, and I can see distances. I feel like pretty good. So I took about 2 weeks to kind of start judging targets, and I decided I'd just throw my hat in the Coleman game at Coleman. So I went to Open 40 that day. That day I signed up for Open 40, and I went out there the first day and I shot 22 up, and so obviously I was pretty hooked on the judging. So that particular shoot, we had to shoot both of our events in the same day.
Yep.
So it came back to the 3 o'clock, and I shot the second event, and I was 20 up, so I was 42 up for the weekend in an open class, and so I was hooked.
Yeah, for sure,
100%.
for sure.
Yeah. So I decided, well, 40 was fun. Let's go try 45, and so I went to Open 45 the next year, and ran through the whole year. And that year I was 48. I turned 49 at the end of the year in October. So the next year I decided, you know what, I might as well just go pro, shoot with the guys, learn more about this judging game. Because I've always heard, I know Jack Wallace said at one time, you learn so much more from these older guys that have just been doing it for so long.
100%.
Yes, sir. So I got into the pros last year, senior pro last year. I did make the leaderboard in Coleman at the end of that year. Came off the board at the end of it, and then obviously this year I was able to go to Foley. Didn't have everything tuned in just right like I needed to, but Uchi Creek I wasn't able to make it. My son got married, and then I came to Minden, and I was able to actually make the shootdown.
That's it. It was awesome. My first day seeing your name in the list, and then I mean, and Jack's been around a long time. And he's doing his thing very well. And I'll tell a story about Jack, and Jack knows. I mean, that we've talked about this in the past, but when he first started, he figured that he could hit them all because he could see them all.
Right.
I mean, he would shoot at every one of them. It was constant, and so then when he decided that he could, when he was hitting them, when he was shooting strong, I mean, nobody could touch him. And then the next time he could be 30th, or whatever. Yeah. And it was like, and he's, and that's when he said, you have to learn to play the game, step up there and go, I'm not sure of my number. Let's just take us 10 and move to the next one, aim at the ones you're so confident at, and then go from there. And then it's a different strategy in unknown. For sure. I mean, I started known unknown. We didn't have known class. Like we judged yardage, and we didn't have any upper 12s. So, that's just, it's, crazy that, now we have upper 12s and more known distance classes than we ever had unknown. It's,
right.
But it is what it is. It's just a sign of the times and the changing of whatever. So, but yeah, so that's pretty cool story there.
Yes, sir. I was going to touch on that. Got to shoot with Jack this weekend, and that's something he kind of spoke about, just playing the game. And I am just like how Jack was, I guess, in the beginning. So after you telling me that story, because if I can see the 12, man, I shoot at it. I saw the upper 12 on the turkey, and I shot for 45 yards. I told myself I was going to shoot at the center of that turkey. I was first up on it, but then that sun just hit that upper 12, and I could see it, and I put it right on that 12, and it went in. Thankfully, it went in. But when you see the thing, I think my brain just takes over and says you got to hit it. So I don't play the game as well as I should. That's why I'm still trying to learn a lot of what these old guys are teaching me.
But you're still new in the business. I mean, as
I'm
far
very
as
new at it.
The same guys that you're standing there with. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there were some, there's some newer ones in that bunch too. But I mean, some of those guys have been doing it forever. I mean, it's just unreal.
Jeff Hopkins,
I mean,
for 38 years, I shot with him the first day. Mm-hmm.
So I always tell the story if you compare NASCAR to archery. Jeff Hopkins is the Earnhardt of ASA.
He is. That's exactly right.
Because he was the 7-time champion, and nobody had ever done that before, and it was unbelievable. And then this young kid comes along, and now he's got what, 12,
Takes the
14,
title.
something.
14.
Yeah,
I believe he's got
14.
14.
So it was like the young Jimmy in NASCAR coming in and doing his thing, and it's the same thing. Levi came in and did it, and that's the cool part about it is that everybody's been there, been at the top of the top and the bottom of the bottom. I mean, there was times that we wasn't sure if Jeff was going to make it back after he fell out of the deer stand,
Oh yeah. Right.
fell out of the tree. So, for him to be back and doing, and then watching his son shoot, I mean, it's, fun to watch in general. So
Yeah.
so you shot Foley.
I did.
And then you had to take off, and then so you were back at it, and you had gave some practice in and got some time in locally to be prepared for Minden.
Yes. I work at the fire department, and I do construction on the side as well, so it limits a lot of my time. So when I can get in that time at the local events, I try to go to those. Sweetwater, RDO. I've been down to Social Circle, different areas, so it's a lot of fun to do that. We get to meet the new. Archery is all about the community.
For sure.
Just love meeting these new people all the time. I met two new folks at RBO just the other weekend, so it's a lot of fun.
Yes, for sure. I mean, and Scott puts on a great shoot. I always told him, this was before he was whatever. I was like, you need to go start doing that at the ASAs and switching it up some, And now look what he does,
That's what he does. That's who he is. Yep.
It is what it is. So how long you been? You said a firefighter. So how long you been doing that?
I've been doing it for 18 years now.
18 years. Well, we do appreciate your service. That's that's a heck of a service to everybody else is running away and you're running in, that's definitely something to, but firefighting is something that it takes the right person to do it, for sure.
That's true. That's very true.
So Ken Zidell, which is the fire chief here at Social Circle, he used to shoot a lot, and he's the same thing. He's almost ready to retire. I mean, he is definitely, at that point now. But
I started pretty late.
Yep.
I was 30 years old when I started, and then I had to leave for personal reasons for about 3 years, and I was able to come back. So
I got you.
I've enjoyed every bit of it. It's been a real ride.
Yeah. And so you're down in LaGrange.
Yes, sir.
So you're on that side of the world. That's the west coast of Georgia.
That's right. Up against Alabama.
Yeah, right against Alabama. But there's a pretty good, like you said, with Sweetwater, and now with Knock 'em Up and River Bottom and all of that. I mean, you've got a pretty good corridor of several shoots that you don't have to drive 700 miles to get to.
Yeah, Knock 'em Up's right there in Heard County, so is RVO, so it's 30 minutes everywhere.
That's right. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, for us on this side of the world, we have to drive to that side of the world to shoot all those events,
Right.
And we joke about it, but I go, and Gainesville does their thing on Saturday, and I just happen to have to work on Saturday, so I hardly ever get up there to shoot with Jonathan and them. So
there's some good guys up there,
for sure, no doubt about it. But that's a very unique story. Started out hunting and went further into the tournament side than most. And it's happened both ways. I've seen people that do tournament and then decided they want to try hunting. And the biggest thing I think as an archer, right, is as long as you're shooting a bow, that's a good thing, because we're not making any more hunters. Right. So sometimes just having the tournament side and then go, it sounds interesting to be able to hunt. You may could gain a few people, and you on the other side, it's just it makes shooting that deer so much easier. Right.
Man, it's a world of difference. Yeah, you go from hoping I can hit it at 20 yards to not worrying about taking a shot at 75.
That's right. 100%. So you've done the ASA tours and you've done local stuff. Have you done anything outside of that? Have you done a TAC event or if anything like
No.
that?
Eventually, I'd like to do the tech event. I'm definitely going to go to the Clarksville event that ASA is putting on.
Yeah.
My understanding about that is supposed to be very similar to a tech
Yes,
event, so
for sure.
I'm looking forward to that. Jamie Gerton, he
Mm-hmm.
runs Knock 'em Up, and he's been to several, so he's been talking to me about it. So I'm
Oh
very
yeah.
interested in going to something like that.
Yeah, I think the bow hunter games, isn't that what they call it? I think that's going to be a very interesting event because if you get the same crew shooting hunting bows and we're going to laugh and giggle and have fun that we've always seen and done, I think
Right.
it's going to be a great time for sure.
It's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and any other things like indoor, have you?
I've never done indoor. It's just everything's been so far away, and when I got involved in this, it was all about the 3D.
Oh yeah,
And
I understand.
yeah, I'd love to shoot some indoor. And again, Jamie, he's planning on opening up an
Yeah,
indoor.
he's clearing all spots for it as you speak.
Yes, sir. So I'm looking really forward to that, especially after what I experienced this weekend. The flat concrete. We
Oh
got to
yeah,
do some work. Yeah,
for sure. That
yeah.
bright white
Oh,
floor is unbelievable.
it's
So,
unbelievable.
yeah, it was very interesting to watch. It was
I
pretty
learned a lot.
cool. Yeah. Oh, I mean, but that's what we're do, right? I tell everybody, you don't never lose. You just learn or you win. One or the other. You're going to learn. You're going to learn from the mistakes. That was the biggest thing. We have to make mistakes to learn from them. If we don't make any
So,
mistakes, we have no way to learning.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but so let's talk about equipment.
Okay.
Now that you said you were shooting an open equipment, I'm assuming there's this big old banner hanging behind you that says Matthews.
Yes, sir.
So my assumption is you're shooting a Matthews, but
I do.
go over your equipment of what you're shooting. So
So currently, I shoot a Matthews Title 38. Eventually, I'd like to get a 40 because my draw length is 31 and a half, and I think the string angle would be better. But I'm
hmm
shooting this bow really well. I've got a Hampsky Insight Peep. I've got the Bowfinger V2 with the sight. It's a 35 millimeter sight, running a 6-power lens, A plus clarifier. I've got B Stinger front bars and back, V bars in the back. The Hampsky weights. I love those weights with the magnets in them.
quick and simple.
They're so nice. They're so
hmm
nice. What else? Oh, the TRI QAD. Love that rest. It's just the best rest to me. Quick story about them. I actually made a mistake, and like we all do, we're learning. And I drew back one time, and I did something. I don't know. I think I was trying to twist my peep, and I must have got into the release a little bit, and it shot. And when it did, the arrow hit my finger, and
Mm.
it blew up, and the string wrapped around the wrist, ripped it off, broke it off the riser, and just destroyed it. This was 2 weeks before Kentucky, 2 years ago, and man, I called QAD and I told him exactly what happened. I said, "Look, I broke this. This is my fault." And those guys said, "Send it to us real quick. They'll fix it." They put it all back together, sent it right back to me, and said, "Have at it." So, and I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but I just want to give them a shout out because that was a fantastic thing they did for me.
They are good people for sure. And let's see, that's equipment. So we went through that. What about release you're shooting?
Currently, I'm shooting the Abyss True
Okay,
Ball
True
Abyss.
Ball Abyss. Okay. And then arrows.
Arrows Gold Tip 30X. I'm running 160 in the front. I've got the 275 tat drivers in the back. I currently went to pin bushings, pin knocks, and I'm using the biter knocks in the back.
Okay. Well, biter makes a great knock for sure. There's no doubt about it. I've used them for years. Just I don't. It's just what it is. It's just always worked for me. I am not a pin bushing guy in 3D,
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
and
I literally put them in this weekend, and I'm
yeah.
so glad I did because I only had 7 arrows with me, and
hmm
two of them, Mark Kesey smashed one of them, and
hmm
it knocked him out because I had a pin bushing, and then daggone if Jeff Hopkins didn't smash another one, and it did not hurt my arrow at all. So I was pretty happy with it. I made both of them sign my fletching that they busted my arrows.
I got you. Well, those are both good guys, and good stories that you get to carry on to the next time for sure.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's pretty neat equipment that you shoot, because everybody likes to know what equipment you shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Because they always like, well, what did he do to get there? And like you said, you're not sponsored by anybody, and I guess you're a staff shooter for Scott, I'm assuming.
River Bottom. Yes.
Yep. So, he does a great job with that group of. I mean, I actually, before I worked for Ace, I was actually wearing a River Bottom shirt at shoots too, because I just want to support him, in what he was doing. So, but yeah, And I still support him. Tell everybody to go down there. We always talk about, his shoots, and, if he's on that side of the world, he probably have something in his shop that you need or get, and, to do that thing when he's there, because now he's gone a lot more than he was.
You better call him.
Yeah, call before you
That's
show
right.
for sure. Right. But so yeah, that's it's a quick 5 years. Moving from just wanting to hunt, Jonathan lets you shoot his bow. Now you're hooked 6,000 feet deep, and then you said, "Heck, I'm going to go pro," because we're not getting any older, right?
That's right.
It's not like our eyes are going to be better next year, because every time we turn a different age, there's a new ache and a new something. So
That's very true.
That's the thing about it. And the friends that we make here in archery is unbelievable for sure.
It really is.
But yeah, so you always shot Matthews from the get-go, or did you shoot a couple of different brands?
No, I shot. So again, Chris Caldwell, he had a PSE, and
Yep.
it was the what was that thing? It was the shootdown.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to get an elite, so I bought his PSE from him, and so I started with the PSE, and I shot it great, won a lot of stuff locally, did all that, and then of course Scott is an elite dealer also.
Yep,
so
sure is. Mm-hmm.
I got into the Result. That was when the Result came out,
Yep.
and then a buddy of mine, his name's John Gray, works at the fire department with me. He had this Matthews bow, and it was just a hunting bow. But when he shot it, it was just the quietest thing I ever heard in my life. So I started researching Matthews. Now, mind you, this guy, I think he was in his 20s at the time, and I'm brand new to this. So I'm asking my guy here, my buddy, that, hey, what kind of sight should I use? What kind of release should I use? What kind of bow should I get? What strings? I don't know anything.
Yep.
So my best friend was YouTube and people with knowledge. And
For sure.
So I got to where I was starting to use these kinds of things, and started researching Matthews, and I found out that I'm a Christian, and they're a Christian company, and I love to affiliate myself with those kinds of things. I eat at Chick-fil-A, not just because I love it, but because it's a Christian company.
I understand.
So,
Yep.
I love all of that, and so when I picked up the Matthews, I fell in love with it. So I bought I believe it was TRX7.
Mm-hmm.
Is what they called it, and it was too short.
Yeah.
So I had to sell that, and then I ended up with I found the TRX40, which I have a real hard time selling bows, by the way. Once I get them, I can't sell them for some reason. I just can't let go of them. But I bought the TRX40, and it fits so good, and it was so dead in the hand. It was so different from a PSE and the Elites and so on and so forth. So I just really fell in love with it. So I fell in love with the company. Fell in love with the bow.
Yep.
So how could I go wrong, right? And
For sure.
So since then, which I would say is, I'm going on 3 years now. 3 years with Matthews that I've been shooting a Matthews bow.
I got you. Well, if you don't know my story, I shot PSE as long as it lived and breathed. I bled that thing forever. 26 of 28 years of traveling tournaments.
Wow.
I shot a PSE.
Yeah.
So way back from, as a young man till, 5, 7, 8 years ago, I guess it was. I shot PSE. Things changed with the company.
Right.
Not that their equipment was bad, but the company had changed. And 90% of the people that I had been friends with forever with that company were no longer with that company. And so I was in a market to change. And and when I did, I went to, and was working at Ace, and we sold every brand there was. Pretty much 7-8 brands, and so I had a choice to play with everything. So I called all the different dealers and the different reps and said, hey, I'm thinking about making a change. So do you have something I can borrow to try to test? And I tested a Hoyt, and I tested a Matthews, and I tested the Bowtech. And at the time, the Bowtech to me just was the easier transition. Right, it just felt a little better for me, and so that was the route I went. And so I shot Bowtech for the last, for the next 5 years, mainly, not traveling tournaments. I had quit doing tournaments. I was just coaching a lot and doing that type of thing, working at the store, and then, Bowtech had some changes, and. The opportunity came up, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to shoot them all, and whichever one scores the best is what I'm going to shoot with. And I don't teach. I was taught how to shoot a bow by pushing and pulling, right? I mean, it was a constant hard push, hard pull the whole time. And the Hoyt just does that.
Right.
Now, it does. It loves to be pushed and pulled on, and it just works best for me. And that's why. And everybody asks me, well, why did you pick Hoyt? Hoyt makes a great product. They've been around 95 years. Matthews makes a great product. McPherson is a great gentleman. I've met him. I've been lucky enough to meet him a couple of times. And Joe, Maxwell, he's a great guy. He's hanging at the shoots and stuff, and has killed more stuff. That's a killer that nobody knows about. That's the funny part about it. So all the companies are great companies, and the biggest thing for that is just the bow that fit me. I can pick up a hunting bow of any brand off the shelf and kill it. Kill animals with it. Right. And so I needed the best tournament bow for me, and that was the one that just fit me best. I teach students that are shooting the Matthews. I teach students that are shooting PSEs. I teach students that are shooting elites. So it's not about a brand specific as far as shooting style goes, but it just personally fits me.
Yeah, I was very fortunate then when I started shooting the Matthews. I was a fresh slate. And I listen to everybody. You got the push and the pull guys. You got the relax guys. You got the, you just got to just rip it in half to make it work guys. And I was just more of the 80% mod, let off that I needed to relax a little bit. So I get into that back wall and I just start relaxing. I've got the strength in the back that's got the pull in it, but when I go to trying to really rip the thing apart, I just start vibrating. And I really never could, make that work for me. And maybe the Matthews likes it, maybe it doesn't. I've never shot a Hoyt. I feel like you, I think I could pick any bow up. If it's an Obsession, if it's a Hoyt, Elite, I don't think it would matter. I think I could pick any bow up, and I could shoot it. Get the right draw length, so on and so forth. But I'm just, I think there's something to be said about loving the company and the confidence that you have in a bow and a company that you work with.
Yes, for sure.
Not that I work with them necessarily, but maybe one day.
One day,
I do love the idea of what they stand for, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident in myself.
Look, I mean, the one thing that I can say, we named several different companies here, and most of those companies are now owned by a investment group, of different sorts, and there is a one-man band that owns that company.
Sure.
And yes, he has put together a team that is unbelievable out there and they all like their job. So there's got to be a reason that they're still there, because they do enjoy what they do, because they enjoy who they work for and how they do things. Right. I mean, I every time I call them, they're all happy, they're all go lucky, they all enjoy what they do. Start the mission line with less expensive equipment, and donate, and all of that proceeds go out to help in missions. I mean, that was the whole thing. So that money's donated out. So it's, yes, as far as the company goes, he's a great company, and he does a great job. There's no doubt about it. So I'm never going to fault a company who has been in this business as long as has been in, and doing and believing in the right things, not just believing in archery. Right, not believing in a bottom line. So I have definitely supporting companies that believe in archery. That's what I want to support, and that's why I shoot the brands that I do.
That's right.
That's awesome. I make a big joke about Easton. They made the only person that made arrows longer than Easton is the Indians. So, over 100 years of building arrows. So I've been shooting Easton for a long time, and I've just done a great thing.
I shoot the gold tips because that's what Scott started me off with.
For sure,
you kind of have your roots.
Yeah, I shot gold tip for several years. I mean, before Tim was truly the pro staff coordinator for them. I shot Bee Stinger before Gold Tip owned it. So I mean, but they're great, and I think they're going to have a great revamp of the company that just bought them.
I'm looking forward to that.
John's working hard to make that company back to where it should be, and I think that's a great job. So I look forward to the things that they're going to do, because you hated to see, some things that didn't, things change. There's no doubt about it. That's the one thing that's constant in this whole world, is things change, but, I shoot, Hoyt, Easton, I shoot Hamsky, I shoot gas bowstrings. Eric has, been a friend of mine forever. And I shoot B3 releases and sights. Because I've been friends with those guys at that company forever and a day. So, I mean, the funny part, the funny part about those guys are, they're 10 miles apart from each other, Gas and B3. They're both in Clay City, Kentucky.
That's awesome.
And it's, and Marty's been building sites in there from when previous company that owned that, was in that building, moved their stuff to New York, and then B3 took over that building and started building stuff. So it's pretty neat, But like you said, you've been in this business long enough. You get to know people,
Sure.
I tell everybody I have been a certified coach, not an archer, but just a certified coach, just the coaching part, for 26 years.
Wow.
So I shot my first animal with a bow when I was 12.
Wow. That's awesome.
I shot the first non-ASA before ASA was invented, as a young man down in Valdosta, with my hunting bow. I wasn't into the tournament side of things. I was a bow hunter, Right. And my buddy's like, hey, let's go down here to this new thing they're fixing to have in Valdosta. So we rode down there and shot the, Wayne Pearson Trail. And Jeff was a young man, because, we were all, and I was a lot younger then too. So, and I didn't get into the competitive side of things, until later. Yes, I kept up with it and that type of thing, but I didn't start, competing till way later, like to fully compete. Yeah, I'd show up to one or two and locally and that kind of stuff. But, I was still friends with, and started working in 35 years ago, when I was working in the, computer business. I have an IT degree, so I had my own personal computer business, and I was shooting shotgun at this place, and the new owner decided he wanted to put archery in, and the first thing he said was, anybody know archery? And I'm like, well, I've been shooting one since I was 12, and he's like, "Oh, great! Now you can just go come up, be certified, and teach the kids on the weekends." And that's where it went from there,
That's awesome.
So, and I had been competing before that, and then got jumped, both feet head first into everything. And yes, 3D was my thing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, meeting the group, traveling all over. We traveled in places. I wish I wish we'd go back to some of those different places just because it was different,
Right.
Sometimes it's easy to get into that circuit. We all know what, I haven't been to Minden. I've never shot in Minden. The last time I went that far was the last Texas round. We was in Texas. So, when they moved it to Minden, I haven't shot it yet. Not that I thought I was going to get to this time. Things didn't work out. But I'm not 100% in it. All 7 shoots, 6 shoots a year right now, because I'm still doing my thing. But when I turned 50, I told myself that I was going to start shooting more for me again, and that's what I'm doing now. So, and then the Georgia Archery started off of, I kept up with all the shoots locally and put them on a spreadsheet because I was a computer geek, so I could figure out how to do that. And I started getting phone calls that said, "Hey, what are you doing? Who's shooting this weekend? Where's it going?" And so I was like, heck with this. I'm going to start a web page so everybody can click it and watch it, or at least see it. So they didn't have to call me every time about who's shooting where. So,
That's awesome.
Excuse me. I had to wet my whistle. But,
That's right.
I think that, so let's get into, like you said, it was dark and overcast, which helps you judge. That just works better for you. Probably because your practice time is late in the evening or early in the morning, and it's just what you're used to seeing the shadows. And you was on the board pretty much the whole time. Some names rotated in and out. And there's a lot of guys that are, that's been doing this for a while that, don't always make that cut, So for you to be in it short term to make that cut, you've done, a great job for sure. So let's talk about, you went through. Now at the end, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. You're the 5th on the stage. So your name calls out first.
Right. And I have no idea what I'm doing.
Exactly. So
everybody that was in there, I was asking, "Hey, where do I go?"
Exactly. I was going to say, it's like they just told you what time to be where, right?
Yeah.
So what did you do? So y'all come off the range. What time did y'all come off the range?
It was, I want to say it was around 11:30.
Okay,
Right
11:30.
We had I think, we got the new proctor calls, and I think on that second day, I heard at least 4 or 5 proctor calls. I think that, everybody's trying to get that. Maybe I can just get that 12. So they're wanting to use that proctor call regardless if they really think it's in or not. If it's close, they're just going to throw it on there. And there was 2 proctor calls in our group, and so it slowed it down a little bit. It got to be about 11:30, but we got done and was able to walk out. So an interesting thing for me was, I'm going down to get my arrow on the last target. It was the leopard, and Jack Wallace. He said, "Look, man, you're still on the board. I think it's between you and Tim Boykin," and I was shooting with Tim.
Yep.
And he said, "Look, he's already shot. He's a 10. You're already ahead of him. All you need is a 10. You stay in it. All you need is a 10." And I'm not the 10 shooter. I'm the 12 shooter. So I said, "All right." So I aimed at the bottom of that 12, and I shot, and I broke just under it for a 10. So I got to stay safe. But we didn't know if I was going to be in it or not at that point. He just said, "This is your safe bet." So I appreciate the advice. And so we came off, and everybody's kind of standing around. All these guys that I've met over the years, they're kind of huddling because they've seen my name on the board as, Brett Hood, Logan Wilson, and Walker Scarborough, all these guys. And even the guys I shot with, they're all just kind of waiting to
see. Yep.
Yeah, because the 5th place is the only one that's up for grabs right now. And she's sitting there and she's counting through it, and I didn't even hear her. They heard her say he's in. And everybody just starts like high-fiving and all this stuff and giving me the shake. So it was a, it was quite the experience just to experience the family camaraderie
For
of
sure.
competitors that wanted to see you win.
See you succeed, for sure.
See you
I mean,
succeed, right?
yeah. I mean, and that's like I texted you. I'm not there, but I texted you. It's like, hey, let's get you on just because, because I want we don't talk about it. It was cool the first day. You and Tim both. I mean, that's two Georgia boys on the line. On the first day, it was pretty cool to see. I knew it would have been really, really, really cool if both of y'all had made the cut. But at the same time, you don't know, right? You have no clue.
That's right.
And how it falls in and how it falls out. I mean, you've watched names get on the board and off the board, and it happens. We didn't used to have that board.
Right.
It used to have to be whispers across the, where's he at? Who's he? What did he shoot? How did he shoot? It was a big whisper across the board when you was trying to figure out if you're going to, make the cut. Now at least you have a board like you do in golf, so at least you can look up there. One thing is it can be intimidating. You see your name at the top of that list, like, oh crap, or you can be like, yeah, or you can watch your name, and like you're creeping in, like, hey, he's at let's say he's at 8 up, and I'm at 6 up. I don't need much to get there, So and so it motivates both sides of the thing. So.
Somebody asked me yesterday. Actually, it was Walker. He said, "Does it bother you to see the board?" And I said, honestly, I look at the board, I see who's on it, and then I just never think about it again. I feel like I would rather not see it. But it is fun to see it because when I see the name go up there, and because I'm so new at it, I've been on the board twice now, and I go up there and I'll go run and take a picture just because, I
For
send it
sure.
to my wife and just like, hey,
I made the cut.
I might not make it, but I got on the board once.
On the board. I mean, you're
making these little.
That's the first goal, right? Yep.
Right.
First goal.
Yep.
First goal is you got to make the board. If you made the board, even if you didn't stay on the board, if you made the board once, means you were in the position at the right time.
That's right.
You're doing the right things if your name goes on that board at 5, 10, 15, or 20. 25, 30, 35, 40. Any time that your name is on that board, you've done something to stay with the top. So it's an accomplishment in itself to make the board. And then to make the show is a total, is a total different monster. And now you've experienced that. Now you're going to try to find a place to judge yardage on the inside with bright lights.
It's already started. I've got to find that spot. I told my wife we were walking this morning. I said, I need a place where it's just flat concrete. Maybe it's inside, maybe it's outside, but I've got to start looking at stuff that's just flat out there, and because it really changes everything.
Church parking lot.
Yeah, that could work.
An old Walmart parking lot. Something that's. I have a friend of mine who judges yardage very well because he's in construction, right? Builds buildings and understands that, walls got to be this long, this way, that. And he was really good at it because he could judge it. And then you get in there with the cover and he could judge on a flat ground anywhere, right? But as soon as we got into the woods, he'd miss his judge by a little bit. And so I was like, hey, and so he had to teach himself to judge in the woods.
Yeah.
And you, on the other hand, is like, hey, I don't, how many times do we judge inside a building? Twice or 3 times? It's not.
I didn't even realize at the moment, Minden's shoot off was in a building.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Brad Martin and he said, man, it's just a white floor. There's nothing in it. It's just a white floor and it's bright. You're going to have, it's going to be different.
Yep. So in Texas, we were inside a building, but it was a training center for like football, so it had lines on it. Mm-hmm. And so that's 10-yard increments, right?
Yeah.
They were 5-yard increments, right?
Yeah.
And so, but the problem was they made sure that they didn't set it that way. They set it at an angle.
Always.
So
right.
So that you're looking at it at all these lines cut across, whatever. Yes, there's ways to figure out, a little bit better, but that white floor is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
For sure.
When you look at some of the videos, I watched the video afterwards, and when you look at the videos from the top,
Yep.
it just looks like it's forever. And it does when you're in there too. It looks like it's
Yeah.
just so far across. I was looking at the ceiling tiles going, well, that's a 4-foot tile. I wonder how far that is over
Yeah,
there.
100%. I mean, you got to figure out what you can do to get there. There's no doubt about it.
It didn't work.
Yeah. Well, let's get to that. So you're the first name that they call out, because they call out fifth, fourth, and then you get to stand in the top spot. And Scott has to walk over there and talk to you, right?
Right.
Because he talks to each person, talks about, he gives his speech. I don't know what it is. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've not been able to be a part of that. But, how fast did that whole thing go before we even get into each shot?
It was really quick.
Yeah.
As soon as you get up there, he comes up, and I know Scott really well. And first thing he says, "Hey, congratulations!" And then he goes right into Scott, ASA mode, and
Yep.
he's "Hey, that cone goes in the front. It doesn't go behind. It goes in front of that board. Don't kick it out there. Don't throw it out there. It goes right in front of that board." So if you're shooting at the upper, obviously, and that's basically the competition. I mean, that's the conversation. He says, "Good luck," and he goes to the next guy.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, they've tried several things over the years. I mean, a flag to stand up, put down,
Right.
but the cones just seem to work the best. And then goes on to the next one, does everything, and then you have to wait for everybody else to come out. So you're standing there, and your nerves are getting there, and y'all had time to go out and judge the targets. They give you that a couple of minutes to look through and do. And it was funny. I was watching in the show. And I think it was, who was it? Jack and Tony were still standing on the floor after everybody else had walked off, and they were still standing on the floor judging. And I was like, there's no doubt in my mind why them guys are still out there, because they do this all the time. I mean, this is, and I was like, man, I was like, there's some other guys, and there's 5 guys should be out there looking at it, and so forth. But anyway,
when I went out there, I looked at these targets, and I've been doing it only pretty much a year and a half is how long I've been judging, and so I went up to the target, the first one. I looked at it, and I just felt like what I see it for is what I'm going to shoot it for. And I tried to look at the ground because I can ground judge pretty well, and but previous to that, they had a 20-yard target inside where the blue curtains were that you could just warm up on.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Hey, this is 20 yards." So I looked at it, and I was like, that's not 20 yards. That's 25, 26, 27 yards. I mean, that's way further than 20 yards. And it's literally the floor, the flatness, the lighting. And so I went and got my rangefinder because I didn't believe them. And so I rangefinded it, and it was only 20 yards. And I was like, that's insane. So I put all that away, and I went out there, and I started looking, and I thought maybe I could look at the floor and tell, but I can tell you the rest of the story after we get started. But it didn't work out. But I'll tell you why here in a minute.
Yeah. So you got everybody out. Everybody's gone. They announce everybody right out on the board, have everybody's information, and now it's time to shoot your first arrow. And you start off on which target?
On the Russian boar.
The Russian boar. And you judged it for how far?
I judged it for 34, 33, 34 yards.
Okay. And where did you hit him?
I hit him very high in the back over the 14. Which is, I was shooting at the 14.
Yeah.
So this will go into the story, but go ahead.
Yeah, so you hit him high. So essentially, like you said, the practice target looked long. The first target you shoot at is long. You're in fifth place. The only way that you can make the podium is to shoot at 14s. So you're like I'm gonna go or go home, right? Either way.
That's right. Unfortunately, my first target was the shortest target.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to acclimate on the short one, so I just went for it on the very first one. Just started there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know you went for the 14. I mean, it was actually mentioned in the broadcast. Hey, he's going for it. But I could tell with the smile on your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you wasn't. No offense, but there's some other guys that show all of their emotion on their face, and they're mad if they miss, right?
They're destroyed by it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you were just happy to be there. You know,
I was happy to be there, man.
Exactly.
Look, I was happy. I told those guys, I said, look, I'll be happy. Obviously, I want to win. I've got my competitive nature is through the roof. My wife could tell you I want to win. It's one of the reasons I got out of known classes is because if you don't shoot lights out 100% of the time and you hit any eights, you're done. You're just done. If you're not hitting, most of the 12s, you're just done. Same. And so that's one of the reasons I got out of it, because I was shooting 22, 24, 26 up in the known class, but it's just not enough. No. And so I took that variable out, added another one, and had a good time with the known unknown stuff. So
that's cool. So you fived the first one over the top. You shot the Razorback in the Razorback, the wild boar in the top side of his, the wild boar in the top side of his back, and then you move to the next target.
Yep, which was the blessed buck.
The blessed buck, which is that's not my favorite target. It's not my favorite target. It's just the way he sits in there, the body shape.
Real high shoulders.
Yep, dimension to aim off of, to triangulate is hard to do. I mean, it just is. Yep. And you're just like, hey, what I got to do now? So what did you do?
So the first one I shot, and I don't know if you know Tim Yeoman.
I know
Tim was helping me out. So I was leaning on Tim to just kind of guide me through this whole situation, and he's just so gracious to just be there for me. I just met him in Foley, so so he's very helpful. And he came around. He said, "Hey, did you set your sight?" I said, "Yeah, okay, let's set my sight," because it's so fast paced. I mean, everything's on fire. It's just the whole room's on fire at this moment. And so I go up to this next one, and in my mind, maybe I made a bad shot. Maybe I shot it for what it was, because I swear it looked like it was that far away. Mm-hmm. And so I come up to the blessed buck, and I look at it, and I go, so I got 47 wrote down on my card. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, okay, that's got to be 40. He might be 5. I'll shoot middle 10. And I can kind of see it. I can kind of make it out. So I shot at the middle of the 10, and I shot it high in the shoulder on that target.
Yep. And you're like, uh-oh.
So now I'm realizing that wasn't a mistake on the first one.
Yep.
I felt like it was a good shot, but maybe it was a terrible shot. And everybody's telling me, hey, lighting could mess with you. All these things could mess with you. And I have no clue whether it's going to or not. So we're testing this in the shoot down.
100%.
And so I go for a 10 on the blessed buck, and I hit it in the shoulder.
Yep.
And at this moment, I realized I'm in trouble.
You said, hey, I know I executed well.
I did.
So you're like, my numbers are off.
Yep. Even with all the nerves, I was like, that shot went off in that 10.
Yep.
Yep.
And so now you're at the third target, and you're like, okay, now I got to cut some numbers.
Yep. So I was like, okay, the first target, it looked like maybe I was 3-4 yards hot. The blessed buck, I maybe said, maybe it's only 3 or 4 yards, and maybe obviously it was more than that, but maybe my shot or where I executed wasn't right where I thought I was. So maybe I shot high because I was hot, and because maybe I was in the upper 12 instead of the middle.
I got you.
And so I cut 3 yards on the mountain line, and I shot at the mountain line, shot it high over the 14.
Yep.
For another 5. And I turned
to
Tim. I said, hey, man, I'm going to be, at this moment, I'm just going to be pretty happy hitting all the targets with 5s.
For sure.
Yeah. So I cut 3 yards on the mountain line and hit high. So I was like, okay. And so I went to the next target, which was the bear. And I saw that bear for all of it. I just saw it all. I saw it all out there.
Yep.
And I said, well, 3 yards wasn't enough. Let's cut it down to 5 yards. So I cut him down to 45. I knew the bear. I haven't shot it much with the black It's black. I've got a cinnamon bear. I painted half of him black, and I shot him once. I shot him.
Yeah.
I've literally shot him 3 times since they took the cinnamon bear out,
Yep.
which was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled the old cinnamon bear out. I painted him black out here at my house. So I shot him once, and I shot him once in the first round, once in the second round, and this is my 4th time shooting that bear. So I know about where the 10 ring is. So I felt like I knew where the IVO was. I lifted just a little bit. Like I said, I cut 5 yards, and I know the 14 is a little right of that because it's super tight. That 14 is super tight on that bear. So I'm like, if I'm just in there, maybe I can catch that 14 because it can't be more than 2 inches, 3 inches off of that 12. So I pulled back, shot it into the dark abyss that the black bear is, and it hits the 14. Now I didn't know that yet. Tim's down there looking through his binoculars, and he says, "Hey man," and I look over at him. I don't think they videoed it, but I looked over and he says, "Were you aiming at the 14?" I said, "Dude, I'm aiming at all the 14s." And he says, "I think you hit it." I said, "Oh, that's I was overjoyed. I was just happy. I was happy hitting the 5s at this point,
For sure.
But to hit the 14 was just, it's just icing on the cake for that one.
Yeah. And so that's your 3rd target. You got 2 more to go, right? So
that was my 4th target.
4th target. So you got 1 more to go. You done figured out now my numbers are cut to 5, and I'm gonna execute a good shot.
Cut to 5. So I came up to the links. I had him at 41. I cut him to I had him at 43. I cut him to 38. I shot over him.
Over the top. Yep.
Yep. And I think at this point, because I'm pretty sure he was 38. Matter of fact, I know he's 38 because what I did was when all this was over and we walked off and we did our thing and I left and I went to go watch the videos. And once we get done in senior pro, they bring in the known senior pro.
Yes.
And so they start talking about the distances. And I wrote down, I had my card and I looked at all my numbers and I wrote down the distances every time PJ said that target. So I'll go through the distances. The Russian boar was 29. I shot it for 34. That's 5 yards. The blessed buck was 40. I shot it for 47. So I was a little hot on that one. The mountain lion was, I think I shot it for 38. He was 36, but I'd cut 3 yards. So that was a 5-yard difference originally. The bear was 5 yards difference because I had it for 50. It was 45. And the lynx, I had it for 43. He was 20. No, he's 38. So the lynx was 38. So every single mark I had was exactly 5 yards hot, except for the blessed buck. I was 7 on that one.
Yeah. So but the blessed buck was the longest shot or the next longest shot?
No, it was the next longest shot.
Do you have a blessed buck at home? I mean, do you judge him off by a little bit?
No, I kill it. I kill the blessed buck. I mean, I can get it in the 10. I'll shoot it from 47 yards all the time. But when you get out there on that flat white floor, I guess it just looks forever away. I know that. I think Dan Christian Berry said something about it in the video, in the commentary, but it's amazing how those guys are hitting 12s. They're just acclimated. They know something I didn't know. And they weren't sharing.
They've played in that sandbox before. But now you have all of that to chalk up into learning experience. So for the next time that you're there and you make the cut, you have that in your back pocket.
I'm gonna start shooting lowers and calling uppers.
Well, I mean, if your number's on, you're still in the 10 ring. So
that's right.
Like I said, my brain still has trouble aiming at an upper. Because my brain got so far looking at the lower, trying to figure out where it's at. Because I was going to shoot at all the 12s, and they were all in the bottom, backside. And and my brain looks at that spot. Matter of fact, my rangefinder hits that spot every time that I've ranged a target. There's no doubt in my mind.
When I started, I was shooting at lowers, and I recognized that if I'm going to make a bad shot, my tendency is to
push
drop.
out. Okay, you'll fall out.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll fall out. I tend to fall out. So if it's not a super strong shot, I tend to fall out. And if I do, then at least I stay at 10 if I'm shooting at the upper.
And see, that's the game that people have to learn to play. There's no doubt about it. And I have definitely been shooting at more uppers, and trying to, like, I got old eyes. You're 50s it comes. But my eyes are getting worse by the minute. So that triangulation of where it's at, sometimes the seeing definition in the upper is easier to see than, I think for instance, the turkey to me is an easier upper than it is a lower for me.
Yeah, it curves over a lot of
Yep.
times, and when it does, that sun can hit it, and you can just see it.
And the mountain lion / Black Panther, same target, different color.
Yep.
The muscle definition in the higher side of that target, just I can see the 12 better in it on that than I can in any of the others. And then the javelina. I'm just going to shoot in the middle of him because I never get it right. If I'm shooting at the upper, I'm going to be out the top. If I'm shooting at the lower, I'm going to be out the bottom. It just happens.
You don't know which white dot to chase on that
exactly,
one.
Exactly, and it all blurs together for me because my eyes are just not that good. And I do shoot a 6 power, but I contemplated shooting an 8 power, but I found out that an 8 power on black targets, I see nothing. I can't find the target. It's just because I'm so amplified that I'm just looking at a black spot. So, I think they even talked about that with Paige and her 8 power, and the same thing. Black targets give her a hard time because of that. If you don't find definition, it's hard to get to. So, but yeah. I guess I'm gonna be in if the rain holds off. I'll be in your neck of the hood this weekend on Sunday over at Knock 'em Up, because that's who's next, I guess, for a shoot. If hopefully the rain will hold off, and that's what I'll be over that neck of the woods shooting, because I have been informed that I'm headed to Kentucky. I had not planned on going, but I have been informed I am going. So I need to shoot a little bit. Yeah, so I need to shoot a little bit to get back into the I don't want to be last on the list.
That's right.
And Jonathan
That's a win in and of itself.
And has been shooting well, and those guys, now that we're all in that same group together, and we're having a good time. So, and then hopefully we can you can make the board again, and maybe we'll talk to you again about it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But that's cool. I appreciate you spending the time today talking with us. People get to know who you are. If you be sure to holler at him at the range. Anytime you see him, give him a congratulations for making the cut, because not everybody makes that cut. We appreciate that. And like I said, anything else you'd like to say to everybody out there, and about archery in general and the people, or whatever you want to say, you got the last word.
Just shoot, man. It's just fun. You don't have to win. It's always fun to win. It's always good to win. The competition's great, and that's what we all strive for. That's why we show up. But a lot of times it's just about the camaraderie and the people. It's so much fun. I've been fortunate enough to be able to, meet a lot of the owners, and like Josh Grind and all those guys, and be able to just sit down and talk to these people is just amazing. And
Sure.
That's a guy right there that he's got a lot of great ideas on what he's wanting archery to be and where he wants it to go. And he's in a great position to do that. So I'm really excited about what he's doing and what he's got going on. He's got Scott helping him, and so I'm excited about what's coming in the future. So
For sure.
just go shoot your bow, man. And it's like
sure.
I tell the guys at the fire department, I got a lot of the young guys there and that work for me. So I'm a battalion chief, so I got a lot of guys under me, and so they ask about different things, and I tell them, you don't have to win. You don't have to. It's great to win and all that, but just go shoot your bow. These guys are wanting to hunt, and I think the biggest suggestion I have for them is actually shoot your bow. Don't wait 2 weeks before you go hunt, because they always say, well, I missed him, or I think I hit him in the rear. I never found him, and all this kind of stuff. And just the ethical part of shooting animals.
You owe it to the animal to be prepared to shoot the animal.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And if all you want to do is hunt and do that, then that's what I feel like you should do. So.
Oh, I did forget a question, and I'm going to just have to give it to you now. So, shooter of the year. As you know, me and Brian had a long discussion about that on a podcast. So what do you think about the shooter of the year and how it's laid out?
I don't know. I I don't think I got to see your podcast, so I'm not sure how you feel about it. It's odd to me a little bit. I think it's odd to everyone, but I don't know enough of the reasons why it is the way. Again, I'm very new at this, and I don't know if it's ever been done before. It makes sense, and I think part of the deal is that we used to do it a certain way, and as humans, we don't like change in general. And I think that maybe because it's a change, people are not liking it. But I don't know enough about the way it's going now versus what people are thinking about how much they hate it or not hate it. So I've heard different stories. It does seem odd to me. I'm not sure I exactly understand it all, but
I got you. Well, that's what I was just asking.
I'm out of it, so.
And I was just asking, and I thought to myself when I asked it, I'm like, but he's so new at it, he doesn't understand where it came from, as far as that's concerned, and it's not like, and yes, you're 100% right. It was this way for so long, I get that a lot of times in a lot of other places and a lot of other things when the rules change and then somebody goes, no, that's the rule. I was like, that rule was there last year, not this year. You got to read the rules every year. Rules change. And so I just didn't know if you had a comment on the shooting and how that works.
I will say that the rules change for a reason, right? I don't think people just change rules just to have a reason to change them. So I've never spoken with anyone that has any kind of authority to say why the rule changed. So without having that knowledge, it's hard for me to have a real opinion. I do think it's just different. I don't think people like it. I've heard a lot of comments, but I don't know the real reason why it changed.
Yeah. Well, I have thoughts on why it changed. And we're not talking about your class as much as there's a different class that out of 17 years, 2 people have won it all,
So this is an opportunity to
17 years and only 2 names have been on that list. Does that make, so I'm not.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. At least the guys that are listening to this podcast do. But maybe that was a reason for the change, and not that they were doing anything wrong, right? The guys who won it. They did their thing. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But maybe that was a reason to let's just see if it can make a change, right?
Sure.
I think that I thought it was at some point. I thought that I always thought that the shoot down should be part of it. If you make the cut, even if they had just gave a bonus of like a bonus cut. In other words, you got 2 points if you made the top 5, extra,
right.
and then give out some bonus points on placements, right. First, second, third, that type of thing, because making the shoot is one thing, winning the shoot is a total different monster. And there's a lot of guys who play well enough to make the cut and not always make a podium, so don't fault them for it.
The weirdest thing to me is like the bottom 30 people are in 17th place right now. That's what I was. It looks weird. I don't understand.
So the stopping at the top 10 and then everybody 11th and 30th get the same amount of points. That's a little different to me. Yep. Yeah. So at 11th place you get 30 points, and if you're in 26th place you get the same 30 points. Well, there's probably a big discrepancy in score between those two. Yeah. And so, and I think it helps if somebody has a bad day, you know, they haven't fallen to the bottom, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. It's just it's different.
Well, you always, and it's also taking out the drop. So taking out the drop, that hurt me personally because I like to go to all 6, but this year having my son's wedding, and
that's right,
we just couldn't make it. I had a friend of mine. He said, "Hey, just go there, sign up, pay the money, and I don't know, shoot your first arrow or something, and then leave. At least you get 30 points.
30 points.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I've seen that done before. In other, and I've seen that not so much in the. I don't know if anybody did it in archery side, but I've seen it in other places, or in the ASA. But I have seen it other places where guys just showed up, paid their money, shot one arrow, and left, and then that way they got their participation point, or their their minimum had to do. I don't know what. I would have loved for you to do that so that Scott would have to figure out if that was going to be legal or not. I don't.
Well, I mean, the rules are rules, right? But and that's the thing about rules. I think that they're trying something new. Like I told you before, Josh has got a lot of great ideas, and
for sure.
He's moving forward. And when I was speaking to him the other day, he said, "Hey, man, if this doesn't work, we'll stop doing that and we'll try something different."
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to run it one time. You got to run the play one time to make sure it's going to work, or not work, and then fix it from there. Oh, for
sure.
You're
not going to make everybody happy. And, but I feel like if you don't try it, you never know. And
if you don't try something, exactly. If you don't try something new, you'll never make a change, Right. If you don't ask the question, the answer is going to be no. So if we don't try something, the answer is, they say it's going to be the same thing. So, I mean, Josh has got some great ideas. I mean, this whole shoot in Clarksville is something that he has worked hard to, navigate some things that we felt that, or personally in the archery world, not him, but we felt that ASA needed to try something into that side of things, because there's no doubt. I mean, I'll sit right here and tell everybody, TAC is a fun event, and I don't have to worry about a scorecard whatsoever. But I have just as much fun shooting that event as I do shooting ASA. So it's a different monster. Don't get me wrong. I mean, competitiveness kicks in really fast in ASA. There's no doubt about it. But we have our own competitiveness at a TAC event to come back with all our arrows, and hit every target, and beat your friends, that type of thing. And so it's a different aspect. And I think it's going to, it'll draw people into the world of, like you said, you were drawn that way. You went from a hunting side into the tournament world. So I think it'll pull some of that hunting side into the tournament side of the world. So I think it'll be a good thing. But I hated to get off track, but I just had forgot to ask that question. I appreciate your answer.
Sure.
But thanks for giving me your time today. Let's see. Take someone, teach them how to shoot a bow. It will last them a lifetime. Until next time, I'm Big John, and that's. Come on, tell me your name. Say your name.
Jonathan Taylor.
There you go. And we'll see ya.
All right. See ya.